はい。
Tadaima! I'm back, Fanyus. Welcome to Season 2 of Yuzuru Hanyu is My Emergency Contact, the FanyuFanme podcast. It has been 102 days since the Season 1 finale, which didn't really end up being a finale thanks to a little life-changing event called share practice. But, to be honest, not much has really happened since we last spoke. Except Yuzu opening a Twitter account, Yuzu opening an Instagram account, Yuzu wearing the khaki suit of Sin 2.0, Yuzu selling out every pen in Japan, Yuzu skating Ronkapu flawlessly for 24-hour TV, though I thought it was flawless at JNet's Yuzu, just saying. Yuzu on Sendai TV, Yuzu on Sendai TV, Yuzu on Sendai TV, Yuzu fostering world peace, Yuzu on the cover of a magazine, Yuzu on another cover of the same magazine, Yuzu creating a membership for his YouTube channel, and Yuzu's one-man ice show. That one deserves getting said again. Yuzu's one-man ice show. I think we have all learned by now that in professional athlete Hanyu Yuzuru time, 102 days is the equivalent of 9 years. Because dang, when I decided to take my hiatus during Yuzu's hiatus, I don't think he got the message that we were taking a hiatus. In fact, last night, I dreamed I was being chased by, wait for it, a goat. I think you get my point. Before we go any further, one thing has to be addressed. I am not going to talk about prologue in this episode.
本当に?
When I decided that Season 2 of FanyuFanme had to start on 11/11, obviously, I didn't know that Yuzu was going to premiere Prologue the week before. What can I say? When Yuzu and I flipped the coin to see who would get to premiere first, I think we can all agree it's no surprise who won. So while we aren't going to talk about Yuzu in the Circle of Light, or Yuzu's precious pronunciation of colors in Japanese, or even, no, I can't bring myself to say it yet. I promise the time will come. I just need a little more time to process all that. But Fanyus, we have a lot to talk about in this episode, even if we don't talk about the red glove. We'll start with the most recent blog post, I Can't Keep Up with Yuzu. And then I'll introduce an entirely new, but probably recurring, segment to the FanyuFanme podcast, as I desperately try to catch up to Yuzu. It's episode 1 of season 2, the Ketchup episode of Yuzuru Hanyu is My Emergency Contact, the FanyuFanme podcast, where I finally talk about all the things I remained quiet about until now, except prologue.
せーの.
I can't keep up with Yuzu. I'm not going to lie. Over the past few months, there have been moments when I have actually said out loud, just take a minute and sit down, Yuzu. Since Yuzu turned pro, there has been so much content on social media that I've had to switch to scrolling through my phone with my left thumb because my right one keeps cramping up. The Yuzu content creators are feeling particularly overwhelmed by this Yuzu lanch. Avazuru? Neither of those work. I must be out of practice. We used to get the occasional telegram from Yuzu. Konnichiwa! Stop. Hanyu Yuzuru des. Stop. I'm still the greatest des. Stop.
Bye bye.
Stop. And then we'd spend the next several months divvying up that 9 seconds into multiple blog posts, fan arts, podcasts, and butter sculptures. But now, We wake up to stacks and stacks of boxes delivered to our porches overnight. The delivery driver asking us to sign for Yuzuru Hanyu, Hanyu Yuzuru, Hanyu, Yuzu, Hanyu Senshu, and all the goat emojis, including the ones that aren't even goats but that people think look like goats on tiny phone screens by mistake as they try to keep up. The boxes are labeled Hanyu Yuzuru Des, and Des, and Des, and Des. And with every box I open, I think, well, I can't not comment on that. In fact, I feel I owe Yuzu an apology. I used to comment on every single Yuzu second, the slightest hand gesture in a practice, a side glance while microwaving hot chocolate, the direction he combed his hair. But now, I simply can't keep up. There are entire interviews I think I've missed. Translations I haven't read, photos I haven't saved. Well, maybe let's not get carried away. But I personally don't know how Yuzu is keeping up with himself. At one point, while I was watching the Yuzu TV marathon, which had been advertised on art gallery-worthy Sendai station pillars, I got on Twitter to see Yuzu appearing live on a morning talk show, and I thought, where the frick is Yuzu? He should be home watching himself on Pillar TV. Here Yuzu was waxing poetic about litmus paper, and I was like, Yuzu, I'm still watching the special about your uncle photographers, Mate! This is starting to perpetuate my belief that there has to be more than one Yuzu. And again begs the question, how can I get my own? Does he cycle them out? I'd like to request the one that painstakingly wrote the kanji for evolution while Hope and Legacy played in the background. Surely he'd be up for grabs once his ink ran out. What's even more astonishing is that Yuzu is supposedly doing all of this with no phone. When Yuzu made this statement during one of his 719 interviews on 7/19, my brain exploded, but perhaps not for the reasons you may think. Most of all, I am astonished, disappointed, and downright betrayed that the interviewer failed to follow up on this epiphanical, see, he still has me making up words, statement of Yuzu statements. When he says he is no longer going to be a competitive skater and will stop competing, the interviewers fall over themselves to follow up with, so does this mean you won't compete? But then, when he dropped an epic nugget of personal logistics, the interviewer just moved on. How could you not at least attempt to get him to expound on this with any word taught in Journalism 101? For example, how? Or why? But most obviously, what the? For someone who is in such demand to be in so many places, surely there's the potential to lose Yuzu. Didn't he get off the elevator? No, can you try calling him? Well... On the other hand, this is just yet another Yuzu phenomenon. Perhaps this explains the look he had on his face before all his Sendai talk show appearances. I could watch the dedicated Yuzu camera of this all day. Yuzu, in a suit, looking at his surroundings with an innocent look of blissful removal from common humanity. He isn't checking his phone. He isn't looking stressed. He's simply existing as Yuzuru Hanyu and letting us all blissfully join him. Until we have to get in line to pre-order our Era magazines, because we gotta keep up. By the time he announced he was working on a new program, I had to put on my own sleep clinic hoodie and take a nap. Do we even still remember the sleep clinic hoodie? Tell me we remember the sleep clinic hoodie. With every passing day, my narrative remained, can't keep up. Can't keep up. Look at how his foot is perfectly pointed in that photograph. Can't keep up! When Yuzu's one-man ice show was announced, a new photo of Yuzu was posted on the website, and I found myself wondering, Did we even notice? In the days of 9-second Yuzu, we would have talked about that photo for weeks. I even started to question if I had followed all his official accounts. I might have been doing that when Yuzu came and grabbed my hand and pulled me into another room. But Yuzu, I haven't even clicked the notifications bell on your Twitter account yet. I can't come read the rocket science ticket lottery instructions for your ice shows. Oh, but look at that hoodie. The Yuzu overwhelm finally got to me one night as I was sitting in a hotel room in Prague. Random but true. I got a Twitter notification from Yuzuru official _ I was mortified to hear the words, "Now what, Yuzu?" come out of my mouth, and my entire Fanyu life flashed before my eyes. Who am I? And then I took a break from Yuzu to watch Yuzu. And he reminded me there is a person inside of this new Yuzu machine. There is a person behind every tweet, every Insta post, every YouTube membership, and every Google form. And it has always been this person that really matters. And this person is our person. And he's why I care so much. FanyuFanme has always and only been about Yuzu being Yuzu. Not about Yuzu's staff speaking on behalf of Yuzu. I don't have a t-shirt that says Yuzu's staff is Yuzu's staff. Of course. I am incredibly thankful to these people who are working tirelessly to help Yuzu's dreams come true and possibly give him a few hours of sleep in his sleep clinic hoodie. Remember it now. But I finally had to give myself permission to occasionally miss pieces of the machine while knowing it doesn't change how I feel about the person who is at its core. Let's be honest. Whether you click the first tweet or the 351st retweet, Yuzu will still look sexy in that black silk shirt in the Sekisei ad. Or the hard hat in the hard hat ad. That was what was being advertised, right? What's important is that we remember why we're here to begin with. Because we love Yuzu. And because Yuzu invited us on this journey with him. This journey he promised us on July 19th. And as long as our hearts stay with Yuzu, we'll always be able to keep up with who matters. So while it may not always be the fastest, and I might occasionally miss a few, unless it's a photo, I'll keep clicking hearts for Yuzu because of the way he clicks mine.
完成です。
It's time to introduce to the FanyuFanme podcast a new segment called Hayaku Fanyu. Since I don't think Yuzu's going to be slowing down anytime soon, I'm going to allow myself 30 seconds each to speed comment on some of the latest Yuzu events, which I imagine is going to feel like trying to catch every piece of shaved ice Yuzu tosses in Haruyokoi as they rain down around me. So here we go.
早い。
Challenge Yuzu. Remember when we all put our requests on Twitter for professional athlete Yuzu? I loved the specificity, particularly the outpouring of requests for Yuzu to skate on a frozen lake. If we're making specific requests, I'd like to see Yuzu vacuuming. I can't be the only one who went there when he listed that as part of his daily routine. The 12:07 Phaiten clock. After Yuzu visited Phaiten, a photo started circulating of Yuzu with a clock in the background reading 12:07. And we Fanyus lost our minds! Either Yuzu has a magnetic force that pulls all clocks to that time when he enters a room, similar to his gravitational pull that attracts all cute stuffed animals to him. I'm looking at you, Guriri. Or there was a Fanyu Phaiten employee who stopped all the factory clocks to ensure that they were on Yuzu time while he was there. This might be harder than I thought. The Japan-China 50th Anniversary Memorial Ceremony. Kudos to whoever realized that the only person who could ever bring about world peace is Yuzu. But for Yuzu's sake, could we please let him do something easy? I mean, he was handed a million things and then expected to remember a speech in 2 languages while trying to maintain world peace. Then it was over and he went straight back to Sendai. While I'd like to believe it was the call of green pajama pants and some downtime, I bet it was really a pair of skates and a producer's hat. Tuna Yuzu. Yuzu said in his Era interview that he feels like a tuna swimming until he dies. Let's all cry a little. This naturally produced a new nickname for the most nicknamiest person alive, Tuna Zuru. I loved the tweet from one Fanyu saying, "If you're a tuna, I'm a tuna." That sums it up perfectly. We will all be tunas together. But don't worry, Yuzu. We know you're the big tahuna. Come on. You all named him Tuna Zuru. You have no right to judge me. Era model Yuzu. I received a special request to write a post about model era Yuzu. I think I can sum this up in one sentence. Yuzu is now officially spelled O-M-G. TV show Obon Des. I could write an entire post about this. Highlights were the way Yuzu sold out office supplies. When he reached inside his jacket, every shop owner thought, "Please let my shop sell whatever Yuzu is about to pull out of his pocket." Sorry, kayak salesman. And the demonstration of his incredible game show host skills. Half of the Fanyus thought, "I can't believe they made Yuzu do that." While the other half thought, "Thank you so much for making Yuzu do that." I'll let you guess which half I was in. The Toa CM. Also known as Yuzu in a hard hat. First, it was the khaki suit of sin. Now it is the most unflattering piece of protective headgear. It's as if Toa is trying to prove what we Fanyus have known for years. Yuzu can pull off anything. Or as one top fan of FanyuFanme commented, "Nothing can make this guy less handsome." And thus, we have found the official slogan of Yuzuru Hanyu. This wraps up the first ever Hayaku Fanyu segment. Oh, Mohitotsu. Yuzu, you can put your elbows wherever the heck you want. Fanyus, if you know the interview I'm referencing, I'm sure you agree. If you don't, trust me, you still agree. Okay, now I'm done. This is the part where you let me know all the things I forgot, or that I didn't even see to begin with. If I didn't talk about your favorite Yuzu event, let me know on social media, or at FanyuFanme@gmail.com, and maybe you'll hear it on the next Hayaku Fanyu.
早い。
Wondering how it's possible I haven't yet talked about Yuzu's YouTube videos, his social media presence, his one-man ice show where he, nope, still can't say it. Shinpai shinai de kudasai. It's all still to come in season 2 as I continue to be chased by the goat. I'm sure there will be even more to come since Yuzu shows no signs of stopping being Yuzu anytime soon. And I wouldn't have it any other way. In fact, just when I thought Yuzu couldn't get any more Yuzu, Yuzu got more Yuzu. To prove this, I would like to conclude by sharing a favorite translation of a recent Yuzu quote that I believe to be the most Yuziest of Yuzu statements. If people feel happy, I can feel happy too. I hope you will be happy, and I am happy for your happiness. Yuzu, to this I say, we are happy. And we hope you will be happy because we are happiest when your happiness is making you so happy. I am so happy to be kicking off season 2 with all of you. And while we're all being happy, remember that you can follow FanyuFanme on Twitter, where you can also follow Yuzu, Facebook, Instagram, where you can also follow Yuzu, Redbubble, YouTube, where you can also follow Yuzu, or FanyuFanme.com. Because as long as Yuzu is tuna-ing, FanyuFanme will be right there tuna-ing behind him, trying to keep up with a goat chasing me. Until next time, yes, we're still saying it. Say it with me, Yuzuru Hanyu. The FanyuFanme podcast is a Back to the Forest production.
Back to the forest? Just kidding.